Hello, today I'm with Arnav, and for those of you who don't know, he studies Imperial Computing. He's at Imperial with me. I've known him for about 7 or 8 years.
Yeah,
We've been at Wilson's together before Imperial. I'll just give it to Arnav to introduce himself.
Yo, I'm Arnav. I don't know, maybe a few of you might know me from my own channel, but yeah, I also make content about studying A-levels, GCSEs, uni applications and stuff. I haven't uploaded in a while, but I guess this is my formal return. Tanuj is going to ask me a few questions about computing and also computing at Imperial and the whole uni experience to help you guys understand what that's like, whether you're year 12 thinking about what you want to do or year 13. It should be helpful.
Yeah, let's get started. So firstly, why Imperial Computing? Why did you choose the course?
So I guess I chose computing because it's always been my favorite subject. Like my dad's into telecommunications, software engineering kind of stuff. So seeing what he did kind of inspired me. So from a young age, I wasn't doing I always say I was doing projects. I wasn't doing anything crazy. I wasn't some kind of prodigy, but I was always interested, and I was doing whatever I could get my hands on, whether it was with Scratch, Raspberry Pis, getting into a bit of coding. Just seeing on the internet what cool stuff that people had made and being inspired by it. So, why Imperial? Well, I applied, obviously you apply to 5 universities, and for me the top 2 were Imperial and Cambridge, and they were quite in equal stead. I didn't get into Cambridge, but with Imperial, I did think that it was I was leaning towards it because it's a really good hub for STEM, obviously, and also for entrepreneurship and those kinds of things that I'm interested in. Also, being in London, the experience of being in London is especially being a uni student in London is just so insanely cool. There's just infinite amount of things to do. So those were kind of the 2 things why I chose Imperial, why I chose computing, and yeah.
Cool, sick. And yeah, honestly, when I was in Wilson's, I used to see Arnav doing all these cool projects. And I remember in year 9 or 10, just scrolling through Arnav's LinkedIn, and he did some, he was just doing projects. I was like, yeah, this guy's on it. Also, another thing I wanted to ask, do you regret not getting into Cambridge?
I think it would have definitely been cool. Do I regret it? I mean, obviously it's not in my control. If I had the choice, of course, I would have liked to get in. But I do firmly believe, and I hope this isn't just code, but I do firmly believe that it all worked out for the best. I think had I gone to Cambridge, it would be very different for me now in terms of, obviously workload is very high at both universities. But I think just in terms of being in London and meeting the people that I've met, I just don't know if it would have been the same at Cambridge. And also, no shade for Cambridge, but I just think that the kind of diversity here is a lot more than somewhere like Cambridge. So it's really nice to meet people who are from a similar background to you. So yeah, obviously I don't know what it would have been like had I gone there, but yeah.
Yeah, I got rejected from Oxford too, and I hope we're both not coping. But honestly, I'm so glad I'm here. It's opened up so many opportunities, especially in terms of career aspects, as well as the social life and just stuff to do in general. And next question, we'll go into the application process. What do you think matters most, GCSEs, your predicted grades, TMUA, or your first statement?
Mm-hmm. I would say over anything, it's 2 things, which is your TMUA and your A-levels. Well, I'd say it's TMUA number 1. So obviously you have all the different parts of your application. You have your GCSE achieved grades, your A-level predicted, your TMUA score, and your personal statement. That's it, right? So those 4 things, number 1 is definitely your TMUA. And then I would say a close second is your A-level predicted, but I would say it's more like a prerequisite and less of something that will help you stand out. Having 4 A-star predicted will not help you stand out to get into Imperial Computing, unfortunately. Some people, yeah.
But do you think it's a prerequisite, everyone who gets in has 4 A stars predicted or 3 A stars predicted?
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It is very much like you said a prerequisite. So you will need three A star. Like if you're doing three A levels, I'm pretty sure you would need three A stars predicted. And if you're doing four A levels, I think three A star predicted and one A would probably be fine. So that's kind of that. The personal statement is difficult because we don't have that much information from Imperial as to like, okay, we got in, but like we don't really get feedback about how much weighting the personal statement had or anything. So I think I wrote a pretty good personal statement, but did it help me get into Imperial? Was it like the deciding factor? I don't know, but I would say make it good. Just make it as good as you can within reason. Don't spend time on that, like taking away from your like TMUA prep. Although I think that's a lot earlier anyway. But yeah, the personal statement is important, and keep in mind it's going to all 5 universities, so you might as well make it good because some universities will look at it more than others. You might as well optimize for everything. And then GCSEs, I get like lots of questions about people telling me their GCSE like predicted grades or achieved grades, and they're like, "Is this good enough for Imperial CS?" The answer is like probably. If they're really weak, then yeah, it will disadvantage you. But if you have like a good number of like 7s and like 8s and 9s, then you should be fine. I think honestly, if you have like, I've had people be like, okay, I got like 6s or whatever in humanities, like English and geography. I don't think it would disadvantage you really at all because it's just not the skill they're looking for. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. TMUA by far is the most important. Like there is very strong correlation between people who get higher TMUAs and higher acceptance rates into like Imperial.
Sure. Firstly, I want to say, like, I was reading Arnav's personal statement over the summer, and it's really good. So I'll link it. I'll link it in the description because he actually made a video on that. And secondly, I was wondering what kind of TMUA score you need to kind of like solidify your chance of getting into Imperial.
Yeah, I would say it's hard to know obviously because these are all. It's very much like a black box, but you can take insights from like past data and like see what is most likely to be kind of their threshold, which I would say is about 5.2, but that does not mean if you get 5.2 and the TMUA is the strongest factor that you're likely to get in. In fact, I would say if you get 5.2, everything else needs to be really strong. I got 5.4, and that was definitely on the lower end for my cohort. Like, I would say if you want to feel quite secure, it's very hard to tell because it's obviously dependent on other things as well. But a very strong score for Imperial Computing would be like a 7 or like a high 6. So yeah, I don't want to leave it too ambiguous, but that's kind of the reality of it. If you're getting above, by the way, unfortunately, it's a different case if you're international, the standard is higher. So you will need like, I don't know for sure, but I think you will need above a 7.
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, I guess maybe it's similar for EFDS, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, and what did you do to prepare for the TMUA, the bus statement, and how did you go about approaching year 13?
Oh, trauma is returning to me. Okay, so for the personal statement, I did a ton of drafts. I used AI. I think you should definitely use AI for helping you draft, get your ideas out. Yeah, I kind of outlined this in my video, but yeah, it's very much a process of recalling everything you've done over the years and picking out what you think is most relevant to mention in the personal statement. Just make a really, really long list. Maybe then cut it down to like different sections, like categorize it, and then like pick out maybe 3 categories for each like paragraph, and then link them together. There's a lot more that goes into it, but yeah, I guess for the personal statement, if you are in a younger year and you're watching this, I would say just do as many extracurriculars that you can, not just for the sole purpose of putting on your personal statement, but also.
Super or extra?
I said extra, I meant super.
Okay.
So all of the stuff relating to your course. And if you don't know what course, then just try things out. Yeah, so not just for your personal statement, but also so that you can actually develop a passion for the subject. The TMUA, this was the most painful part of the whole uni experience, uni application. It's a lot of practice. The maths itself, as you probably know, is not like very difficult. It's just AS content, plus like one or two little bits. But you need to do a lot of practice. Work through. I got distracted. Sorry, but there's some sick cars outside. Anyway, no, you can leave it. Yeah, Fast and Furious pulled up outside, bro. What the hell? There's like 4 JDM cars. Anyway, the TMUA. You need to practice, but it's not like you just get straight into practice. I would say you need to learn a few techniques first. So start with untimed practice. Learn the techniques from channels like R2 Drew 2. I don't know, maybe you can link that down below.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Did you use R2 Drew 2?
Yeah, I used it. Bro,
Yeah.
I used it so much.
Yeah. Perfect. He's so good. And I'm sure there's other channels like that. So yeah.
Jacqueline Taylor as well, her papers.
Yeah, Jacqueline Taylor, her past papers.
Was it?
Yeah. Those
that was a
were
hard
weird.
one.
Yeah, those are hard, bro.
Yeah.
Do as much practice as you can. Definitely track like your scores. Have like a spreadsheet. I don't know, maybe there's some like templates out there. Track your scores, see how you're progressing. If you feel like you're underperforming, don't get down on yourself, because the TMUA is hard and you just have to be really patient. Like that's the main thing. You have to be patient that it's not going to work initially. And even if, you have occasional dips in your scores, just keep in mind that, it's all about the overall trend. So just keep at it, and it's a mental game.
Yeah, and also just to add, I don't think the TMUA is something that you can cram for. Like doing 30 hours right before isn't the same as doing 30 hours over 2 weeks, for example. I think it takes time to develop that reasoning that you need to do well in the TMUA. So I think you should definitely be giving yourself the whole of summer right before year 13 starts to do the TMUA. And yeah, another thing just to add, Arnav did maths, further maths, computer science, physics, and econ year 12, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to ask is, do you think that was the best combination for you coming into Imperial CS? Or do you think there would have been a better combination that you could have done?
Yes, it was the best combination. There's no better combination you can have than maths, further maths, physics, computer science for Imperial CS. That's it. If you're doing A-levels. The AS in economics, I don't think it really made much difference. Yeah. I found it kind of fun, but that was just me. Yeah, it was just for jokes, and also our school required it. So, yeah, that doesn't mean that if you're not doing those 4 particularly, then you're at a disadvantage necessarily. If you're okay, so obviously you need maths. If your school offers further maths, do it to A2 level. You should. If you don't, there will be questions, and you're definitely less likely to get in. If your school offers computer science, take it. I think it would probably maybe lower your chances if you didn't, or maybe not. But I'm just saying, for the sake of it, will help you a bit in first year. So why make your life harder? Physics is one of if you go on the Imperial Computing website for admissions, then they tell you the required subjects, the highly recommended subjects that they would say would help you, and then other subjects that would be useful. Just take it in order of do obviously all the required, and then just take as many of the highly recommended as you can. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, sick. Thank you so much. We're done with the application now. Let's actually go on to your first year. What does your workload look like day to day doing the degree?
It's hard to describe, I think. I think it can be as high or low as you kind of choose it to be. Obviously with a lower bound to pass the degree. But day to day, it's obviously right now we've finished our exams at the start of the third term. So the rest of third term is like different stuff, group project and whatever. But in first and second term, we have like kind of like homework, although it doesn't count towards our grade, but it's like good to get feedback on it. So those are like tutorial kind of sheets and problem sheets. So they're like maths and programming. They take up a decent amount of time. Again, like it's quite common that people don't do all of them, but it's obviously good practice too. So it's a good couple hours. I don't know. I guess like daily, but the way I work is like I tend to like just batch my work on like a particular day, and I just kind of get as much done as possible. Some days I'm not very productive at all. So yeah, it's workload is completely relative to like how difficult you find it. So I don't know if I can give a completely useful answer, but yeah, that's it.
Nice, cheers. Another thing I wanted to ask is, what surprised you about the course, if anything, did?
So I guess one thing for me was I knew I was like good at computer science and like maths, I guess. But it's very hard to know like where you will stand compared to the rest of the cohort before you come to university, because there's people coming from all over the country and the world. So you don't know like where you'll stand. One thing that surprised me was like everyone is really smart. Like it's a very high standard. And you know, I did have people telling me like even when I was in secondary school that okay, you know, like they would always just be like, okay, you know, you're really good at CS, like you'll find it fine. But it's been difficult, if I'm honest. It's been difficult for me, and I feel like I'm definitely on the weaker end of the cohort. But then I guess reflecting on that, it's like maybe that's a good thing, because you want to be in an environment where you're challenged constantly. So yeah, that's what surprised me. It's difficult, and the caliber of people here is like quite insane.
Yeah, I agree. I think, I mean, Arnav and I went to a pretty decent school, and then also now coming here, it's a different standard, and it's pretty much surprised me as well, to be honest. And another thing, so what modules do you actually do, and how many? And is there any that you find particularly difficult, easy? What do you enjoy?
Okay, so in first year, at least, I can only speak on that. All the modules are available on the website if you want to have a look, but they're kind of, like, for example, we have like databases, graphs and algorithms, and then we have like some specific maths modules. So the two we have in first year are calculus and linear algebra, so that's like matrices and stuff. In total, there are 8 core modules in year 1, and each of those are weighted equally. Within each module, 20% is coursework, so that means over the year you have some assessed exercises that you have to kind of do as homework, submit them online, get a mark, and then 80% is the final exam, which happens at the start of the third term, not the end. So that's that, and then those are the 8 core modules, and then we have one special bigger module, which is 1/3 of the whole year, which is called Computing Practical 1, and that is all the practical stuff, basically. So that's where you're doing actual programming tests. They don't like to call them exams, but they kind of are exams. They're called Lexis tests. Essentially, you go into the computer rooms in uni, and you sit there for 3 hours and you do an exam. So yeah, there's like also there's final exams, there's interim exams, and we do a different language each term, each of the 3 terms. So that's pretty much an overview. They're difficult. The programming exams, at least for me, I found them difficult, especially, I mean, if you are coming to Imperial Computing, then I guess it's quite specific, but first time we do Haskell, it's really hard. So I don't know why they start us on the hardest thing.
Well, this course like 20% or something.
Well, I didn't get 20%.
No, I heard.
I've heard.
Average was like 20% or something.
Yeah, I've heard people getting that or lower.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I don't know why they torture us with that for the first thing we do, but It only gets a little bit better from there. I mean, we'll see. I have an exam on Monday, so yeah.
Oh, Monday.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, fairs. Oh yeah, Arnav's obviously a social animal, so I was wondering how's the social life at Imperial, and do you think there's any like stereotypes about it that you want to challenge?
It's a complex question. That what is social life like? Um, I would say social life is what you make it. If there's a lot of people in one place, a lot of students, for example, we'll talk about our comm in a minute, but this comm has 700 people and we have 700 more just across the road, all Imperial first years. Like, you're bound to find people that you click with when there's that number of people, just like statistically speaking. So I'd say it's good. There's a lot of people and a lot of them are very social. They go out frequently and, they're just nice to talk to. So I would say it's good in that respect. Sorry. Okay. Compared to other universities, it's hard to say. There are a number of people, I don't know the proportion, but there are a number of people here who maybe are a bit less social, who maybe don't go out as much. And it's not even about going out, but sometimes they don't even socialize that much outside of their own bubble. There's this thing about international students. There's certain international students who don't really interact that much with home students or even other international students not from their background, which I kind of understand. But yeah, it's just something that happens and you'll probably see. But I don't think the social side of Imperial should be anything that should deter people from coming, because there are loads and loads of people and loads of amazing people. So you will find your people. You just have to take the initiative to go out and do that.
Yes, cheers. I'm just checking if it's still on. Yeah, cool. So Arnav mentioned this briefly, but we're both at Woodward. It's a North Acton comm, and there's another one, Ken Porter, which is just 5 minutes away. There's four others, is it? Four.
Yeah.
By Southside, Eastside. They're on the South Kensington campus, and there's Woolston House, which is in Paddington, I think. Paddington, right? Yeah, cool. So the question I wanted to ask is, do you regret coming to Woodward, or do you think you're happy with where you've been placed?
I would say I'm happy with Woodward. If I were to choose again, I would go for either Woodward or KP. They're very similar comms, by the way. I do think KP is slightly better, but they're both really good. They're the biggest comms by far, 700 people. The other ones are 200, 300. They're also the cheapest and the most social, and they have the best facilities. Okay, so why would you not just choose Woodward and KP? Well, the big thing is that they are 45 minutes away from campus. So that's the Achilles heel. But yeah, I don't really regret it. I guess the commute is a little bit annoying sometimes, but in general, I guess it depends what course you do, but for computing, they don't take any attendance, so you don't actually have to go in that much, at least as the year goes on. So yeah, I do like it. It would have been nice to be somewhere like Byte Hall, which is literally 30 seconds from campus. It's just across the road. But, talking to people, they say that maybe it's not socially as big as Woodward or KP. So, yeah, I do think these are the best.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with Arnav. The big thing for me was the commute, and it often leads to me not going to campus. So I think in retrospect, if I was to choose a first preference, that would be Byte. But honestly, Woodward and KP clear every other comm in any other metric. Yeah, literally. So yeah, is there anything else that you wish you'd known before you started Imperial?
Anything I wish I'd known? I don't know what would have helped me if I'd known it before. Maybe just to keep on top of things. Really just keep on top of things.
Okay.
Yeah. And just be prepared for the difficulty. But I guess one thing I wish I would have known is you have to be really proactive. I saw a video by David Cali saying this exact thing the other day. One thing you learn by coming to university and becoming kind of an independent adult is you have to be proactive about everything. When you're at school, certain things just happen to you and they're just good. Like socially, sometimes, not necessarily just socially, but I guess academically, everything is laid out for you, everything's structured, and your learning is very structured and very guided. At university, it's not like that really. They kind of just throw things at you, and you have to like figure out yourself. And then I guess also socially, if you want to make friends and like make close friends, and you want to like go out and do fun things, you have to take the initiative to like plan all those things and plan how you're going to manage your time. So I would say, especially in first year, just do as much as you can, while making sure that your degree is like going okay or going well. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's all with the second section about Arnav's first year and student life. Now, going on to your future plans, what do you kind of hope to do with your degree?
I don't know. I don't really know. Yeah. It's like, it's hard to know. At Imperial, there's a lot of, there are a lot of students who are pushing for things like quant. I think it's pretty cool, but I don't think it's for me. So I guess I'm looking more into working in maybe machine learning, software engineering, or something along those lines. I don't know yet. But yeah, I also am kind of interested in the like startup space. So I guess just trying things out. I guess first year and second year for like experimentation. So we'll see where that goes. But the truth is, I don't know.
Yeah, it's cool to see a CS student who actually wants to do CS in the future. Yeah, next question. Has your first year kind of changed your opinion of what you want to do long term, or is it the same as when you came into university?
I would say it hasn't really. It hasn't really. Not yet. Not in any meaningful way. It's kind of the same stuff that I wanted to do before. But I guess I could say that going through first year, I don't have a lot more clarity on like what I actually want to do, which I guess is a bit annoying, but it's just a case of being patient and trying more things out and just seeing where it goes, really.
Cool, thank you. And knowing what you know now, do you think you would have picked the same course again?
Probably, yeah. I just think, like, in terms of, I wouldn't have been able to do anything else, probably. Or, yeah, I guess this is the subject that I'm most interested in. So, just for me, that's what works. But yeah, it's a difficult course. But if it's what I'm interested in, then it doesn't make sense doing anything else just for the sake of it being easier. So, yeah.
Sick. That was it for today. Thank you so much, Arnav, for coming on. And thank you for watching, guys. And see you in the next one.
Thank you so much for having me, Tanuj. You're a legend. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found it useful.